Have you ever felt like giving up? Like no matter how hard you try, things just don't work out? Like the world is against you and you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of failure? I want to tell you the story of someone who felt the same way, but instead of giving up, they found strength in their darkest moments. This is the story of Jake, an ordinary man, just like you, who went through extraordinary struggles to change his Jake had always dreamed of being successful. He came from a working-class family where every penny mattered. His parents worked hard every day, but they didn't have much to offer him beyond love and support. And Jake was determined to make something of himself. He wanted to prove to the world that he was capable of more. But life, as it often does, had other plans. After finishing high school, Jake enrolled in college with high hopes of becoming a successful businessman. However, life didn't go according to plan. He struggled academically, his grades were never good enough, and his self-esteem plummeted. He tried multiple jobs just to make ends meet. He would wake up early, work late, and study when he could, but it never felt like it was enough. No matter how hard he worked, things didn't seem to improve. He felt stuck, trapped in a life that wasn't his dream. He often asked himself, "Why do I keep failing? What's the point of trying?" It was in one of these dark moments, when he was sitting alone in his small apartment, that Jake thought about quitting everything. He thought, maybe I'm just not meant for success. Maybe it's just not in the cards for me. But that night, something inside Jake clicked. He looked around at his small apartment, at the pile of books he had been studying, and thought about his parents, how hard they had worked and how they had always told him to never give up on his dreams. He remembered something his father once said, "Success doesn't come from what you have, it comes from who you become when you're tested." When life knocks you down, you can either stay down or get back up. That was it. Jake realized something crucial. Failure wasn't the end. It was simply a part of the journey. If he quit now, he would never know what could have been. But if he kept going, even when it felt impossible, he would find out what he was truly made of. The very next morning, Jake made a decision. He wasn't going to quit. He wasn't going to let failure define him. He was going to fight back. But Jake knew he couldn't do it alone. He reached out to mentors, people who had gone through similar struggles and emerged stronger on the other side. He asked for help, something he'd never done before. And those mentors taught him a key lesson. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on others, especially when you're facing challenges. Jake also realized he needed to stop comparing himself to others. His journey was his own. He couldn't measure his success against anyone else's timeline. So, he set his own goals, realistic and personal. From that point forward, Jake approached life with a new mindset. He studied smarter, not harder. He focused on his strengths and worked on his weaknesses. He stopped beating himself up for every mistake and started seeing failures as lessons. At work, he stopped feeling sorry for himself and started volunteering for projects. His bosses noticed his positive attitude and his work ethic. Slowly but surely, Jake's reputation at work started to grow. His confidence grew, and the setbacks that once felt crushing no longer had the power to hold him back. He knew that every setback was a setup for a comeback. Months turned into years, and Jake's career began to take off. He earned a promotion, started a side business, and built a life he could be proud of. But more importantly, he became someone who believed in himself. One day, years after everything had changed, Jake stood in front of a group of young professionals at a seminar, sharing his story. He talked about the pain of failure, the loneliness of doubt, and the importance of perseverance. As he looked out into the audience, he saw young faces, all full of hope but also uncertainty. He smiled to himself. He had been in their shoes. He knew exactly how they felt. And he knew that if they stayed the course, they could do anything. Jake ended his speech by saying, "You're going to face struggles. You're going to feel like giving up. But remember this, the most successful people didn't get there by being perfect. They got there by never giving up. So keep going, no matter what. Because the person you become in the process will be your greatest success." Jake's story isn't one of instant success. It's not a fairy tale. It's a story of persistence, of finding strength in failure, and of becoming a person who refuses to quit. And you know what? That same strength is inside you. You may be struggling right now, but I promise you, your breakthrough is closer than you think. So, the next time you feel like giving up, remember Jake's story. Remember that success isn't about never failing. It's about getting back up every time you fall. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Because you too can transform your life. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of countless small steps, setbacks, and learning moments. You might not see the results today, but every effort you make brings you closer to your goal. Stay committed. Your time will come.